I got a bit of a treat here today. Woke up to a little bit of a rainy day here, kind of unexpected. So changed my plans a little bit, but changed them for the better. Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Scott, and today we are in the little city of Arcata up in Northern California, and this is at the edge of the city limits. This is the Arcata Community Forest, one of my favorite little places to hang out, and I very rarely come out here because it's usually packed and I can usually never find a parking spot. But being that it was a rainy day today, I figured, why not give it a try, see if I can find a parking spot? And of course, I did, because nobody apparently is out on this beautiful rainy day. Now, I can totally understand if you don't agree with me that this is a beautiful day out, but this is my favorite kind of weather. A little bit chilly and a little bit rainy, although not too bad. We just got a little rain going on here. But it does change my plans because I was thinking last night that I wanted to get in and do a little rearranging of my van. I wanted to get stuff out and move stuff around to just make things a little bit easier for me to get access to some of the things that I don't have good, easy access to. But being that it's rainy out, I don't really want to pull everything out of the van and do that reorganizing. So instead, I thought I might treat myself, and I went down and got some of my favorite coffee, and we're just going to spend a day inside today brewing up some coffee and enjoying coffee and this nice rainy day and some nice views out in this beautiful little community forest. So I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. I'm going to open my back hatch here and see if I can leave it open for an extended period of time. I haven't tried this before. I've had it open for a little bit. Of course, I'd like to open it in warmer weather, but I'm hoping that I can leave it open in this rain so that I can enjoy looking outside. I do have windows that I can uncover, but this is a better view out here, I think. There's some big differences between this van and my last van. I've had this van about 3 months. My last van I had for 9 years, lived out of it for 9 years, actually owned it for 9.5. And there's some big differences between the two vans. This van, of course, has this rear hatch that opens up. My last van had barn doors that opened up, and I've always thought that I liked the barn doors better, but I think in certain situations, maybe the hatch is superior. I guess in kind of weather like this where I want to leave the doors open, it's kind of nice that it's kind of built-in rain protection with the hatch. Where with my old van I would have to set up an umbrella or a little tarp or something over the back doors if I was going to leave them open. So maybe I like the back hatch better in certain situations. I always thought that I liked the barn doors better, but at least right now I'm liking this. So what brought me to Arcata today is I needed some fresh coffee since I am all out. And my favorite coffee roaster is right here in this little city of Arcata. They're called Fogline Coffee. And yes, I did pick up 2 bags of coffee because lately here I've just been exclusively drinking decaf. So I did pick up a bag of their decaf. I've had this before and I really like it. This is one of the better decafs you will find anywhere. But in the last few days here I have been trying to drink just a little bit of regular coffee, so I did go ahead and pick up a bag of some regular caffeinated coffee as well. And the owner, I got a chance to talk to the owner who is their coffee roaster, and he suggested this one here. So I think I've had this before, if I remember correctly. This is a washed coffee from Tanzania, a little bit of an unusual coffee. but I remember that I liked it. I think he said it's slightly different this season, and it looks really good. I did get to sample a couple of other coffees that they had on sample today, but this is the one I picked. And of course, I'm still trying to drink a little bit of decaf, so that's why I got both decaf and regular coffee, so I can have one or the other depending on how I feel. So let me get the kettle on here, and I've been kind of going back and forth in my mind on which coffee I want to start off with first, and I think we're going to go with the regular caffeinated coffee. Since I've been drinking mostly just decaf, I might as well crack into the really good stuff. Both of these are really good, but I would just like to try this one first. Another reason I'd like to try this one first is this is a true light roast coffee. So you can see there on his scale, it's just got one bean level of roast. So I know it's a really true light roast coffee, whereas the decaf is more of a medium roast coffee. There's 3 on the scale there, so a little bit of a darker roast, and I really prefer light roast. Very light roast is what I like the most. One of the great things about Fogline is they actually put the correct roast level on their bag. This is an annoyance with me with a lot of the bigger companies like Starbucks and Pete's. Not to pick on Starbucks and Pete's, but whatever they say their roast is, the roast is actually a lot darker than whatever they put on their bag. So whatever Starbucks says is their light or blonde roast is actually a very dark roast. It's not even medium, it's actually dark roast. Whereas companies like Fogline that actually put the correct roast level on their bag, I appreciate that a little bit more so that I can buy with confidence. That's why I just don't ever buy Starbucks or ever go to a Starbucks anymore. I just don't like the dark roast stuff. I prefer the light roast stuff. But of course, now that I'm back here in this area, I've got my favorite coffee, and of course there are a bunch of other small companies like Fogline that are making just really good quality stuff, and they actually put the right correct roast level on their bags so I can find what I like, buy what I like, and not waste money. Now, one of these days I got to get my water filter back set up. I have a water filter and it works really well. I just don't have a lot of space for it right now. That's one of the other little things about moving into this van a few months ago. I have not really finished the build out of it yet. So there's some things that I'm doing, like buying water instead of filtering my own water, and that's costing me money, which I don't really need to be doing that, do I? So I need to kind of work on my van a little bit and get things set up. I do really miss that water filter, although, you know, I guess buying some water once in a while is not the end of the world, is it? Now we're going to do this right. So I'm going to use my coffee scale and brew timer. I bought this last year, and it's kind of a strange name, a little tiny company with a strange name. I can barely read that. I'd have to put my glasses on, I think, to be able to give you the right name. I think it's MHW3 Bomber or something like that. Anyway, little tiny company. They sell them on Amazon, and I thought I'd give it a try because it was a little cheaper than some of the other kind of bigger, more established companies. And there's some nice things about this little scale, but also I'm not quite sure that I would recommend it. Don't think that it's quite as accurate as some of the other brands, but it's accurate enough for me, obviously, so I'm not going to replace it anytime soon. But in case you watched that video where I bought it and talked about it, I should probably just give you my thoughts on it. I know people like to try to buy things if I've bought them, and don't follow my lead on this one. I think there are probably better brands. Although if you can get a really good deal on it, like I did, I think I paid about $35 for it because it was on sale, and then there was another coupon code on top of that. So because of the price, I'm totally happy with it. But if it were regular price, I'd say maybe just go with one of the other companies that's might be a little bit better quality. I don't know. Is there anything more fun than trying out a new coffee? I guess that makes me a coffee nerd, doesn't it? Yes, I am a coffee nerd, and I don't mind at all. Let's see, I'm also going to need my grinder here so that I can weigh out these beans. I didn't even smell these, did I? Oh, they smell fantastic. If you've never had a light roast coffee, you are in for a treat, although it does take a little bit of extra work to brew up light roast coffee and get it to taste good. So that's just one little thing. If you've had light roast and you didn't like it, just make sure that you brewed it correctly, because the brew can really change the flavor of light roast immensely. So one thing that I know that I need to do is I grind light roast a little bit heavier than I do a darker roast of coffee. And the other thing is I make sure that my water is at a really good strong boil. That's imperative. So if you've had light roast and you didn't quite like it, maybe if it tastes a little sour, probably the water temperature was too cold. And if you think about this, if you're heating up your water, when you turn the gas off or your heat off, as soon as you do that, the water's already starting to cool down. Then when you take it and pour it into your brewer, it starts to cool down even more. And some people have done some testing on this, and they've noticed that there could be as much as 20 degrees or more of a temperature drop between when you turn the heat off and when you actually get the hot water onto the coffee grounds. So with light roast, since you need it to be as hot as possible, just make sure that you get that water boiling as much as you possibly can, because you are going to have that big drop in temperature. So since I'm talking a lot, I'm just going to get this ground up, then I'll turn my kettle back on and heat it up again, just so that I know I'm not wasting fuel, because I am right now I'm running these little green bottles of propane, and these things are ridiculously expensive, so I don't want to waste too much. I am trying to get to a point where I'm going to get back to my bulk propane tanks, but for the meantime I'm using those green bottles, so I have to think about wasting fuel. Don't need to keep doing that. Well, I was going to show you how this scale is bouncing around, but of course as soon as I grabbed my phone and started to record, it's just staying put at 15.3 grams. I was aiming for 15 grams. That's what I usually do for this little cup here, which holds about 10 ounces of water, so I'm going to brew about 10 ounces. But this was bouncing around from 14.6 up to 15.3 until it finally settled now, just to prove that I am a liar, and this works perfectly fine. But that is my little issue with this. It doesn't seem to be real accurate on the scale part. So that's why I say maybe there are some better brands out there. And I'm going to brew this in my AeroPress, which is my daily driver of a coffee brewer. I really like these AeroPresses, though I still have a pour over brewer, and I have not gotten it out and used it in months and months. See, it sounds like my water is at a good strong boil, so I'm going to start my brew timer here and go straight in with this super hot water, since this is a super light roast coffee. Boy, this smells so good. And then I'm just going to give it a little stir. I use a little chopstick for that. Chopsticks are great for all kinds of things, but they're especially good stirrers for an AeroPress, I think. So I'm going to let this sit and brew for about 4.5 minutes, and that gives me about 4.5 minutes that I can just sit quietly and listen to the rain. Well, I think I've got the answer here using the hatch as a little rain deflector works. I was going to get my little stool out here. This is my little stool that I use to sit in my bathroom area here. I was going to set it out here, but if I do that, I'm not going to be quite undercover because the hatch isn't quite that long. But I guess I can just sit back inside. I was trying to be outside as much as I can. That's the way I want to spend my days. I want to be outside as often and as much as I can during the day, so this kind of works, I guess. Oh, this is pretty nice. If I've got to be inside, this is the way I prefer to do it. And today, it's extra special because I have my favorite coffee roaster in hand, and I did a pretty good job of brewing this up. This is some tasty, tasty stuff. It does taste a little bit different than I remember it last time, and that's one of the cool things about these smaller roasters like Fogline. It changes a little bit all the time depending on the seasons. So with Starbucks, you know, they kind of, and I'm picking on Starbucks again, I know. If you like Starbucks, please keep going to Starbucks. But I like the variety of something different, something new quite often. And I can either get that by buying different brands of coffee, or I can just stick to my favorite brands like Fogline, and different seasons and different years. There's just a little bit of a change, even though he's buying coffee from the same coffee farmers. It changes a little bit every year, where Starbucks, you know, they kind of over roast everything. Pete's does it too, so I'm not just picking on Starbucks. They over roast everything so that underneath that charcoal flavor you can't tell any difference. That way they can just have the coffee taste the same all over the country, all over the world. It just always tastes the same. Charcoal always tastes like charcoal, but really good coffee, when it's roasted correctly like this one is, it's just got a lot of nuanced flavors to it, especially the lighter roast stuff. The lighter roast stuff has just nuances of flavor, and when you drink it hot, you get a little taste of it. When you let it cool down a little bit, you get some other tastes that come out. And if you change up the brewing just a little bit, maybe change the way you grind it, change the water temperature, all that makes it taste a little bit different. And it just opens up a whole new world of coffee to you. So that's why I like the light roast stuff, if you've wondered. It's all about the flavor of the coffee. And so that's all I drink nowadays is the light roast stuff. Sounds like there's a drum circle going on up there, although I don't see where they're playing. But things have changed here. It's quite busy right now. People running around enjoying the trails. And that sounds like a good idea to me. Let's go walk the trails a little bit. There are a number of trails out here, and there are a number of different sections to this park. So there's a little place for kids out there, a little playground for kids. They also have a little track over on the other side. I think they call it a pump track. I think it's for little bikes. So you can let your kids ride their bikes around on the track. Really, it's kind of something for everybody here. And I'm thinking today we will take a different trail than I normally take. I usually go up the hill here, but that would be going up toward where the drum circle sounds are coming from. So I'm going to go in the other direction. Look at this little thing. It's amazing what beavers can do, huh? I'm not the only one smiling. Everybody likes it out here. The air is so fresh and clean out here, not just because of the rain, but the smell of the redwoods, just intoxicating. One of the great things about being able to hike around out here, especially because a few weeks ago I was in Los Angeles breathing in smog. So I always enjoyed out here, but I'm enjoying this a little bit more after enduring a little bit of Los Angeles air quality for about a month. Now, the one drawback to being in a place that's rainy and overcast is, of course, my solar panels don't pull in much power. Even these new solar panels, of course, they work really good in shaded conditions, but in order to work, they need a little bit of sunshine, and we don't have much of that today. Well, I would not object to another cup of coffee right now, but before I do that, I better make a little bit of food. Okay, here's the snack. 2 quesadillas with some pepper jack cheese, and then I'm spicing them up with some Yellowbird Serrano hot sauce, one of my favorites. And yes, I've already got the kettle on for more coffee. Okay, I've already made my coffee. I made decaf this time, and I went with the big mug because I'm chilly and it's getting later and darker and colder, so I'm gonna probably want another cup after this too, so I figured just make as much as I possibly can now. Then of course I'm probably gonna make a bunch more later too. Haven't tried it yet though. Let's give it a try. That's good. That's very good. You know, people have been getting after me about decaf lately, and I don't see what the big deal is. I don't really have any effects of caffeine. I don't feel the caffeine give me a kick. So I'm drinking coffee for the flavor. I'm not drinking it to charge me up and get me going in the morning. Nothing does that. So for me, as long as coffee tastes good, that's my only criteria. And since I can't tell the difference between caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee, it doesn't really matter what I'm drinking as long as it tastes good. Now, I did have a doctor that wanted me to stop drinking coffee altogether. Decaf too, actually. He didn't want me drinking any coffee. He said, why don't you drink matcha? And I thought, like, that's not similar. These are two different things. That would be like me saying I want to buy a motorcycle and him saying, why don't you buy a monster truck? It doesn't make much sense. Two different things. So I don't have that doctor anymore. I have a new doctor, and she's much better. I like her a whole lot better, and she doesn't have an issue with me drinking coffee. So that's why I'm kind of adding back in caffeinated coffee. So now I've got both, so I can go back and forth. And you know, if all decaf tasted as good as Fogline's decaf, I would just stick to decaf and not worry about it. But sometimes when I travel, I just can't find decent decaf. Either it's not Swiss water processed, or it's not light roast. And so I've been having trouble finding good decaf. Now when I'm around here, of course, I've got Fogline, and I know I like it. But I am gonna travel away from the area here at some point. So I'm hoping that I can get back to just regular coffee, at least from time to time. Right now I'm going to enjoy this incredible Fogline coffee. Oh, I forgot to mention something rather important. Those 2 bags of Fogline coffee that I picked up this morning, I did not buy those. Two viewers of the channel bought those for me. And I knew that one of you had bought me some Fogline coffee, but I did not remember anybody telling me that they had bought me some too. But Rob, the owner of Fogline Coffee, the co-owner with his wife, of course, saw me, and he remembered first thing as soon as I walked up and said, "Hey, you got 4 bags of coffee that people bought for you, waiting for you, so pick out whatever you want and take them." So I only took the 2 bags today, and then I'll go back probably next week and get something else. So if you were one of those 2 people that had bought me some coffee, thank you very much. That's a first for me. Nobody's ever bought me coffee to have waiting for me when I got there, so that was pretty cool. Very nice of you. And I'm gonna appreciate this even more since you did that. Appreciate my favorite coffee even more because of your nice gesture, so thank you very much. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. I've got some shopping to do, and it looks like the rain is letting up, so that means I can probably get a little bit of work done today, salvage the day a little bit that way. But this has been a very good day, so thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.